Mama, do you have something that's been weighing on your heart? Maybe it's a business, a passion project, or a way to give back, but you're waiting to feel ready or qualified to take the next step? Today, I sat down with Melanie Engelman and she opened up about overcoming tough circumstances, building confidence, and extending ourselves grace instead of doubt. If you have ever felt stuck or wondered if you're even qualified, this conversation is for you. Hey, mamas, welcome back to Mamas Building Businesses. I am so excited about my guest today. Melanie Engelman is with me, and she is a pageant queen. She is a mama, and she is the heart behind community give back called Queens Give Back, as well as her own nonprofit, the She Sisterhood, where she provides programs and workshops for young girls and young women for building real confidence and self-worth. So, just all around incredible woman. Melanie, I appreciate you so much being here with us today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm super excited for our conversation because you juggle a lot.
Yes.
So, for somebody who has never met Melanie, um, meeting you for the first time,
Yes.
who is Melanie as a mom, as a pageant queen, as a foundation, a nonprofit founder, and what do you have going on in life right now?
Well, obviously I like to say I'm the jack of all trades. I
Truly.
um so a little bit about me. I first and foremost, I actually never went to college. I always struggled really bad with um learning. And I actually did not get diagnosed till after my first daughter with ADHD and anxiety. And I never had the tools to function in life. And I mean, and I'm not knocking my parents, but I also do come from like a family of addiction. It's just while they did everything they could, I just never really had the tools. Um, and I ended up going back to work after my second child. I battled postpartum depression. I apparently there's prenatal depression on top of postpartum
All the
depression. Like there's
depressions,
all
yeah.
kinds of things. And I never had anybody to just help me, like to talk to, like that person. And I ended up going back to work and I thought that was going to be like the fix of everything. I thought, okay, I'm back to work, I'm making my own income, I'm talking to people, but I ended up feeling more isolated while going back to work. And I just did it because what are you going to do? I have
Mhm.
two kids, one's going in preschool and my like there's nothing I can do. So and my fun fact, my best friend is actually competing for Mrs. Colorado. So she's always been in the pageant system. Um
That's so cool.
since 2020. Like 2020, she's been doing pageants. And she was always telling me, oh, you want to do pageants, like you'll be perfect at it. And I'm sitting there going, like, there's no way I'm gonna be in a pageant. And I was like, if all the stars align one day, well, I'll seriously consider it. Because I didn't think honestly the stars were going to align. when
Like, but when
do they?
pigs
When did
fly, I'll do
exactly? When do they ever align? And one day, because my husband, he's in law enforcement, he works 12-hour shifts, and he was working overnights while on top of me still working. So chaos was my norm. And he was like, "I'm going to be on day shifts." So I'm like, "Oh, that's cool, but when?" It's like tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay, like that soon. And my boss at work was texting me, and she's like, "We're extending your contract until the end of the year." Unfortunately, just with the hiring freeze, which is most companies right now, due to the economy, we're going to extend your contract. So I was like, okay, that's great. As long as I can hear they extend the contract, we're good. So now I'm sitting there going like, okay, stars are starting to align. You know, my girls are getting older, and I started seeing like the ads for all the pageants, and I was like, I've always took care of other people, and I've always I put my husband first, I put my girls first, and I still do. I love them to death, but I never put me first, even as a young person. I left home at 18 to go take care of my aunt because she had a stroke. So it was just constantly stepping in and taking care of putting other people before myself. I never had that chance to find myself, I guess. So, I'm going through and I'm like, all right, we're gonna do this. So I did the deposit. It was like $99, I think. And I thought I was like all done. And then, so I'm like, woo! And then I think like 2 or 3 weeks later, they ended up calling me and they were just like, oh, well, we'll give you the like you can get the 2025 discount rate for the 2026 pageant. I ended up giving them my credit card number and I was like, well, I guess I'm committed. So, ladies, if you ever want to join a pageant, don't hand over your credit card just yet because apparently you can have people sponsor you so you don't have to pay the full fee. I know this for next time. And I was excited. I was excited, but somebody told me like why pageantry? Like I've never done pageants. I've never modeled, like nothing. I just randomly one day was like, I'm gonna do pageantry. And the more I thought about it, like I thought about thinking about like my girls, society today as a whole, and what they're pressured against. And as as women, we have so much pressure. You know, we they expect us to do everything. Go to school, get a job, and then if we choose to be a stay-at-home mom, we're crucified for being a stay-at-home mom and say we don't make an income. Whereas if we have children and work, we are crucified because society doesn't think that we care about our kids for some odd reason. You know, even though you're like, I'm working to provide a future for my kids. So I don't know how that makes me a bad mom and not thinking about my children.
Well, we live in a time of such comparison. I think that people just look for something to complain about. Like you can do everything right, and there's still going to be something to be said.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even now, it's like, you know, for example, I love my mother-in-law to death, but she likes to tell me, oh, you're doing all this, but you're not spending time with your girls.
Mhm.
And it's like, way to make me feel bad. Even though I do all of my stuff with my girls, and that's why I decided she's sisterhood. Because one, I can also do something that I can do with my girls and do like mother-daughter programs to help, you know, as like just a little fun activity. But I'm also being that person that I needed when I was younger for other girls who may not have that.
So I think that's so incredible because you had shared that with me when we first met that you just really didn't have like a role model or a mentor growing up. And so you lacked in some areas or felt like you lacked in some areas
Oh,
because of that,
absolutely.
especially like self-confidence and
Oh
self-worth.
yeah.
And I just had a conversation this morning with another mama who is like deep in like therapy and personal development and all those
Oh
things.
yeah.
And she was saying that one of the things that she recognized is like our kids are a reflection of us, right? And so
Oh, to a T.
so when we're growing up, if we don't have like a great role model who is very, very confident, it's likely that our kids won't be very confident. And so they need to look for those things elsewhere. And for you, I mean, the pageant was really the catalyst, right? That put all of this in
Yes.
motion.
Yes. It was just like that. Yeah, exactly. It was the catalyst. Like it was once got into pageantry, everything else fell into place. and it still is falling into place. And I'm so thankful for it. It's changed my perception on life. I was always a believer that I was not meant to have happiness. And if something was happy, then something bad is going to happen because I'm not meant to be happy. I'm always meant to struggle and work. Like, I'm just meant to struggle, either mentally, financially. And because of that, and because I never had like that happiness, I always spent. So back to my family's line of addiction, I always had that shopping addiction because that gave me like that, like, okay, well, nobody else can be proud of me. So, I'm going to do this.
So, do you think that comes from, so speaking of like addiction running in your family,
Yeah.
that feeling like the other shoe is always going to drop or like you can't be happy, do you think that
Yeah.
came from childhood trauma and just not having like stability where you felt like, okay, things are okay, like where there was always like a catastrophe happening almost?
Yeah. There's definitely some trauma involved, but it's more so of like that stability, you know. And not like home structure stability. I mean, my dad worked to provide us a good life. We grew up right outside of Philadelphia. He ended up moving us outside, like to Oxford, PA. If nobody knows that, it's Amish country. So they definitely tried, but I think especially being a girl is harder because another fun fact about me, I have a rare I don't like calling it a disability. Even though people say it's a disability, it is not a disability. So I was born with a rare condition in where my one leg is red. So my blood vessels are just close to my leg. Um, and it's just rare. I think, and I didn't know this until after I had my first daughter. I'm like one of 40 people to have it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So it's
and there's
very
like
rare.
it's very rare. And now that time has evolved, like there are like you can do like laser treatments for it to kind of like if you're younger, you can do like treatments to help the situation with your leg and like your leg grows longer than the other. But and I think having that, I kind of sought validation and friendship to whoever would give it to me.
Not knowing your own worth. I mean,
Not
just
knowing my
feeling
own,
so different from other
yeah,
people.
so different. And I mean, granted, it was time when social media was like starting to make an appearance.
Yeah, which is a place, I mean, it's just like a
That's a monster all in its own.
cesspool for
Yeah,
for lack of better words, of people comparing themselves. So I
yeah,
have a question for you as far as the self-confidence and the self-worth for you personally. Do you feel that you built that up and that is what allowed you to enter the pageant? Or do you think the pageant is really what like implemented your own
the pageant.
self-confidence and worthiness?
Definitely the pageant. I was always terrified. Again, one because of my leg, and two, like go and be in a swimsuit and in front of 1,000 people to be judged. It was never on my to-do list.
I don't even like being in a swimsuit at a pool where
I just
everybody else is.
exactly,
So
and you know
it's-
what? Shout out to pageantry for becoming more inclusive and doing the one pieces because I'm like, oh, this
right, this mom bod.
is a mama. This is the true kids, true C-sections. Like, I'm
So how
definitely
did
not
it
going.
help you? Like besides the fact that you got out there on stage, like
Yeah,
you personally, your mindset, how did it help you get to being one more confident, two feeling worthy enough to have good things happen and to go
yeah,
on to win your local pageant?
yeah,
Because before you can create programs in a workshop like you have done and teach
yeah.
others, you have to do yourself.
Oh
So,
yeah, it's definitely like stripping everything off. Well, like I said, or first off, so I always had people who told me I couldn't do something. Even my mom, I remember telling her when I first started to pageant, you're like, you're crazy. Like, why are you gonna do this? Like
Mhm.
you can't do pageantry. And it was almost like a testament, like, yes, I can do this.
Like you
And
wanted
even
to prove her wrong.
prove everybody wrong, you
Yeah.
know? Every time I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna do the pageant," it was always met with like you're not gonna do a pageant. Like you're not gonna do this. You're never gonna follow through with it. And the more that I started to believe in myself and going, I can do this. I'm beautiful, you know? And then I realized like what makes me beautiful is not a crown, a sash, being in a dress. It's the fact that I'm doing all this and I'm putting myself on stage and making myself vulnerable for everybody else, the bigger picture. And I'm probably going off on a side tangent, and I probably did not answer your question. And if I didn't, I'm really sorry.
No, you're okay. You're okay. It is. It's that coming to the realization.
It was like it wasn't anything in particular. Like it was just one day I was just like, you know what? I am beautiful. Like obviously I'm beautiful enough to be in a pageant, so that's something.
Right. Right.
But then I realized that it's how I handle everything. I've always handled things with grace. People telling me I couldn't do anything. Um, the struggles,
Hmm.
realization that, like while I don't want to admit it, like I fall into the category of having an addiction. And I changed and I'm able to just and shout out to my during the week we had a work convention and we had a mental fitness coach. Mental fitness really also helped me because I would always be like, I can do this. And slowly everything started to get better. I wasn't spending things just to spend it. I wasn't spending to fill a void. Um, and then the she sisterhood happened, and then I was just like, and then yeah, it just kind of all
So let's
went.
talk about the She Sisterhood a little bit because you're doing something that I believe has been an idea in my brain for a long time and I've never implemented. I shared that
Yeah.
with you a little bit, which is doing like confidence building workshops and self-esteem workshops for young women and teenagers. And so you started doing that because you recognized like you wanted to reach back and be the person that you didn't have, right?
Yes. And
So
to also, oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
And to also take away, again, back to like the social media and technology, um, it was that, but I also to get back to almost like a brick and mortar type thing. Take
Like
away
person to person
person to
connection.
person, like that
Yeah.
human connection, which unfortunately these days I feel like really lacks. Um, Especially with like schools, everybody's on their cell phones and tablets and having a conversation, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Well, and it's, you know what is, of course, technology has created that, but I think that it has been just like completely blown up out of proportion since the pandemic because people got so
Yes,
comfortable being isolated and doing everything on technology.
yes.
I actually saw a study recently, and they said that the lack of social interaction and human connection is currently the number one health risk in America, like ahead of smoking cigarettes, ahead of heart disease. They had a chart, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was like a massive difference. And I believe it 100% because
Oh
I
yeah,
think that God made us for connection, and most people just
yeah.
aren't getting that connection.
Oh yeah.
So tell me, like, how do you teach a young woman that? Like what are you what I don't want to say like what are you actually doing in these
Yeah,
workshops, but I don't know a better way to ask that.
yeah.
But like how do you teach a young woman how to have confidence and how to build self-esteem within herself?
It's really just trying to, so I have 5 pillars, and it's identity. What is our identity? and I teach them to find their identity, through workshops. Um, and it's just allowing myself to be raw so they can be vulnerable and they can figure like help them understand like okay. Um, so there's that. And then there's the connection, that human connection with each other. I think that's the biggest one. And I think that's the biggest way to help build the confidence. Like you said, taking away that human, we're all meant to have that connection.
Hmm.
And I'm also a firm believer that if we don't have conversations face to face, I feel like that's when things really get can escalate and feelings. And I'm again, it's just that showing them that while everybody's different and people may not have the same like the same beliefs or whatever, we can still form that connection and it makes us a better person, essentially. We can have those conversations with each other and talk about things that may make us feel uncomfortable, but it's how we grow our self-esteem. I was never comfortable about talking about my leg. And now I'm
Hmm.
like, hey, one of
Yeah.
the first things I mentioned because then they were like, oh, okay. And it just kind of just all stems from there. And usually like these workshops are like not a one day thing. Usually like it's multiple. Um, and then there's the connection, and then again grace. How do we handle when somebody doesn't agree with us, or if we want something but like we can't communicate it because we're so used to texting that we can't have that conversation without like if somebody is not agreeing with me, do I react, like how do I react? So like one of the things that I'll do is I'll do like role playing with the girls, and I'll be like, say 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 that I don't like your shirt. I keep it PG, and I'm like, I don't like your shirt, and it's like how to help them navigate those situations,
Hmm.
and so far it's been really good.
Well, and I just think that, as part of our education system, which I could go down a whole rabbit hole about that, but
Oh, if you want to go down the education system, we our next one we could go all down that.
but it's like our kids are not taught just regular everyday life skills. Like taught
Yes,
so many things in a book, and I think a lot of, schools, and I think that teachers do an incredible job, and I have such a heart for
yeah,
teachers. I think it's more based on like the curriculums that are set forth by people who aren't in the classroom, like the some of the things with our education system. But a lot of that, the responsibility does go to the parents. The thing is that a lot of kids are being raised by parents who also never had that. And so
exactly.
they don't know to address it, or they haven't worked on that personal development, or they haven't worked on those skills. And I think one of the biggest things for my own children that I have always been really mindful of sharing with them is when somebody says like you can't do that, or like like your mom when she
Yeah,
said, oh, you can't, you're going to do a pageant. There's
yeah,
two things with that. One, I think some of that is the natural, like protective, like being a mom and being protective of
yeah.
you and your feelings. You know what I mean? Like, like, I don't want you to go up on stage and be like
People,
publicly disappointed. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I think there's some semblance of that. And that's something like as parents, we have to work on. Like, how do we present that to our children? Like, how do we teach them while still protecting them, right? Because we have to work on our own communication. But
that
the second thing is nine times out of 10, I would say 99.99999%, when people say something negative to you and what you're doing, they're just projecting their own insecurities. It has nothing
Oh,
to do with you.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I 1000%
You know what
agree
I
with
mean? So
that.
your mom in her mind is probably like, oh, well, I couldn't go do a pageant. And so then
Yeah.
that gets projected onto you. Like I've had people say to me, like when I first, so when I first went into entrepreneurship, I had opened a brick and mortar business and in Philadelphia. And I had people say to me, like, you're a single mom. Like, how is that ever going to work out? Your family lives 3 hours away. Like, you don't have a support system to open this. And it's like they were really just projecting, like they didn't think they would be able to do that. And so they're
Yeah.
projecting that onto me. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh,
And so
yeah.
like teaching our kids that.
And that's why that's why I'm doing like the mommy daughter classes,
Hmm.
which I'm really excited for. So that's still in progress. I haven't had one yet, so I'm still kind of working out how I want to approach that because you're exactly right. And honestly, now that I've been doing this and I have the She Sisterhood, my mom is like my biggest fan.
Yeah. Well, because we learn as parents, like,
Yeah,
there have been so many times in my life, and my parents are truly amazing. Like, I was a young mom at
yeah,
17. My parents have been like my biggest support. It makes me emotional because I know that I haven't always shown them the appreciation, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But they have always been my biggest supporters. And I think that one thing that we don't realize until we're moms is that like our parents, it was the first time for them too. Like I think
Oh yeah.
sometimes we think like, oh, they're the expert. They've been a parent for
Th-
all these years. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, well, they were just winging it too. Like they were just trying to figure it out. And so that's where grace comes into play.
Exactly. I think I tell my mom on a daily basis, I'm sorry. I'm like,
I probably need
I
to do that
do.
too.
Or like a weekly basis or something. And I'm just like, I am so sorry. Like, I can't. Because now that I have my oldest, like, she is me to a T. It's like copy and paste, miniature version, down to the attitude, confidence, and everything. And while I'm very grateful for her confidence, I tell my mom I'm sorry on a daily basis. I'm so sorry. I said like that. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're right. And is that that's part of the grace is that like we we I mean you said it perfectly, like they were me at one time, you know.
Because I think of that all the time with my kids. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm obviously a little biased, but I am grateful. Like, I have really amazing kids. But I do think, like, all the time, like, they think I'm a professional and I'm just like out here winging it and praying that, like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
making the best decision for them.
Oh,
And just, it's like it takes you to experience that and to realize, like, the pressure. Like, parenting is the most rewarding job, but it's also the most high stress job. Like,
oh,
somebody like God trusted us with real live people.
to make them like okay adults. I always say I'm like that they may be assholes to me, but thank God they're great to other people.
But that's
I'm like,
because they
okay,
feel
that's
safe
good.
with you.
Yeah, I'm
They
like,
always say that kids act
yeah.
the worst for their own parents, but it's because I will tell you a really funny story. And the only reason why I remember this specifically is because it popped up in my Facebook memories recently.
Mm,
Is my son, now he's 16 now, but when he was like in, I want to say like third grade, I had made a post on Facebook because he had been like I had talked to his teacher and I got like glowing reviews like, "Oh, if I could copy and paste your son, I would. He's so well behaved, he's so respectful, all this stuff." But at home, he was like constantly challenging the rules. And
oh,
for the record, my son, like his personality is he is a habitual line crosser. Like he likes to challenge things, right? Like
mhm.
that's just who he is as a person. Um, and so at home, he like I was like frustrated. Like It was very challenging at the time. And at school, they're like, he's amazing. Like, could we have five more of him? And I'm like, really? And so I asked him, because I've always been very conversational with my kids. Like, we communicate a lot
Yeah,
because I was a young mom. You know, I had my daughter when I was 17. I had my son when I was 24. I've basically been a single mom for 20 years. And so I always say, like, we grew up together. So we communicate a lot. And
yeah,
so I had said to him, I was like, Junior, why, if you are able to behave so well at school, why can't you do the same thing at home? And he said to me, and again, third grade is what, like 9 years old, I think 8 years old. He
yeah,
said, Mama, I bottle up my bad all day, and when I come home, it just explodes. That was his response. And it really made me, it was a funny response, which is why I shared it on Facebook.
yeah,
Um, it's like making me tear up thinking of my kids young because
yeah,
they're old now. I just miss them being that age so much, but it just made me realize like he feels safe with me
yeah,
for all of those emotions. You know what I mean? Like when our kids are mad or they're throwing a tantrum or they're sad or they're acting up or they're maybe crying out for attention. Those are all emotions and they just feel safe expressing them around us.
yeah. And it makes you feel good as a parent when when you hear that too, because
Well,
you're like,
right. And
I'm
you,
glad. Yeah,
but you got to keep it into perspective because
yeah.
sometimes it's frustrating at home to be like, oh,
Oh,
they're not listening. Oh, they're throwing a tantrum. Oh,
oh yeah,
keeping that in perspective that it's because of the security and the safety that we are providing
yeah,
is why that's happening.
yeah, yeah. And they're great girls. I mean, I can't complain.
And how old are
They
they? How old are your girls?
they're 4 and 2.
Oh, that's such a fun age. I mean, it's an age that's a
Um,
lot of work, but it's a really
it
fun age.
it's so much fun, and for every like for every smart comment, I get 5 hugs. I look at it that way,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
The good definitely
And
outweighs the bad.
exactly. And I think because this has been like a learning journey for me as well, I'm able to take it and use the same things with my daughters, like that emotional regulation,
Yeah. And
how do we
teaching
like
them.
yeah, and it's because especially my oldest, she copies everything I do. So she's learning with me. So it's been just a beautiful learning experience for like all of us, you know. Before I would be so frustrated and like just frustration, and I wouldn't know how to communicate my frustration. But now that I'm able to communicate that frustration and she's learning from me, and so is my youngest,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's been such a beautiful experience. And that's why with the She Sisterhood, if I can, like, if I feel like if I can do it, I can show other people how to do it.
Which is so amazing. And you
And for
are
free at
just,
that.
what's that?
I said, and for free at that.
Well, right. So that's what I was going to say. You right now, you have been funding, and we are going to put for anybody who would like to connect with Melanie or help support her mission in these workshops. We are going to put links in the description. But up until this point, because this is a newer project for you, you have been self-funding everything. You've also been juggling everything yourself. I mean, you are running, and we've talked a lot about the She Sisterhood, but the Queens Give Back portion, I mean, you are also doing like incredible community events. Like you're about to host a luncheon, right, for
I
first
am.
responders in your
Yeah.
local community. And so you're funding all of these things. You are juggling all of these things. How the heck do you balance it all, along with having two toddlers?
Mental fitness, one of them. And I am I show compassion to myself. Um, I don't know what actor it was. She wasn't an actor. I think she's the creator behind, oh my God, Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
I'll have to find it and send it to you. But she was speaking at a graduation ceremony, and she said it perfectly. While I'm succeeded in one aspect, I'm failing in the other. but I'm okay with that because I know like it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I just have to remind myself that constantly. And I actually have like a routine now where like weekends is specifically for my girls. Unless like
Yeah.
I have an event or something. Um, it really is that's like my family time. But I just show kindness to myself,
Well, the
because
grace,
I
right? That
have
grace.
that
Like,
grace and I'm learning to ask for help. So I had my wonderful neighbor, I want to say she's like my co-founder pretty much because it's so new. I gave her the title. And my best friend, like because she's been with me through it all, like she's helping me with the business side of She Sisterhood. So it's helping me really alleviate like a lot of that stress. But I can
mhm.
focus on the pageant and the She Sisterhood. Um, and it's trying to figure out the right word to put it. Just again, just that grace and showing myself like it's while it's hard now, it's gonna be okay. Again, because I started this at such a really bad time. um where like a lot of people they don't sponsor just because of it being close to the end of the year and like so with taxes and all that. But I still had a commitment. I'm like, I'm committed to this. I've already started all of this. So I've had to scale back a lot just so I could follow through with like my commitment.
Mhm.
But I realized it's okay, because I can't feed over 1,000 first responders and I can only scale it back down to like 10 departments. It's okay. Just
Yeah,
that constant
and
reminder is okay. And I am making a difference. But I feel like it's because I'm such a perfectionist. I'm
mhm.
like, if I can't do it all, then I'm not doing it at all. I
Yeah.
had to get rid of that mindset that while I'm not feeding 100 or 1,000 people, I'm still feeding like close to over 100 first responders. And that's amazing. You know, that it's,
It
and I've
is,
had,
and you're
it is.
amazing. And
Oh,
it's
well, thank you.
reminding
It's so are
yourself of that. It's reminding yourself of that because truly,
Yeah.
as moms, we want to be everything to everybody.
I think,
And like you said about like succeeding in one area, failing in another,
yeah.
truthfully, I kind of even hate the word. Well, that's a good quote. I kind of hate the word failing,
Yeah,
but
exactly. We're
but
not
it's
failing.
about like, okay, if this is my priority, then these other things have to wait their turn or take a back seat, right? Like this is my priority. Um and just what you're doing is incredible. And it is about giving ourselves grace because
It's a lot.
it's a lot.
It's a
And
lot.
I will tell you a tip that I just sort of came up with last week because I have gotten a much more positive response. Not that I expected a negative response to Mama's Building Businesses. I
Yeah,
think what I expected was that people wouldn't really be interested in sharing their stories while the platform was small. Like, I
yeah.
kind of felt like, well, people aren't going to want to put in the time to promote their
Mhm.
business until the audience is bigger, right? So I
Yeah.
thought it was more like, we get in that imposter syndrome, like thinking like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
I'm asking them for a favor. But it has been incredible. I mean, the women I have talked to, women like you, the
Yeah.
response has been incredible. And I have like 9 interview recordings between now, which is
It's
we're recording
amazing.
this on a Friday and next Thursday, like in less than a week. And so one of the things that I told myself was, because I have been in a cycle before where I've been like burnt out, right? Or I've had too
Yeah.
much on my plate. So I had one of the women who we recently did a recording. She had sent me, I don't even think she sent it to me. I think I saw it posted on her Facebook like right after we recorded. And it was just like about how grateful she was for the opportunity. It was like like about the impact on her confidence and
Yeah.
I mean, having a platform and being asked and just the impact it had on her that I really didn't think about before,
Yeah.
Um, and I screenshot it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a little like pin board of all these positive things that people say along the way about what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
that way, when I'm exhausted, when I'm discouraged, I can look and be like, look at this impact that we're already having. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I would encourage you to do that too, especially
Oh
like when you get positive responses about the community events and the girls'
yeah.
workshops and how they say it impacts them, like make yourself a little reminder board because
Yeah.
you're having an impact, a huge one.
Oh, I mean, I had a little girl come up to me and just thank me for spending time with her.
Yes.
I'm like, how does that not like pull your heartstrings?
Well, I think especially because you are like a pageant winner and you
Oh yeah.
are you are a queen and you have a crown. Like little girls especially. I mean, I can't tell you if a woman with a tiara on her head had come and spent time with me when I was little, I would have been like,
Oh, oh yeah. Well, so that's why I'm getting like little mini replicas of like my crown and my sash for the
I love
girls.
it. I love it. That's so cool.
And
That's
because
so cool.
it's amazing what like just the little things. And I think that goes back to like how we install that confidence. It is just spending that time. That like
Hmm.
spending that time, no matter we spent time and we were building our own crowns out of paper.
Yeah.
And that made a difference within the girls. And I love
So,
it because like some of them were like, I love myself. And I'm like, yes.
yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. What you're doing is amazing. So, to bring it full circle,
Yeah.
for the mama who is listening and has a passion project on her heart, maybe it's a nonprofit, maybe it's a
Yeah.
community give back,
Anything.
um, but she's scared and she feels underqualified. What's one piece of advice you would give her?
You are very much qualified. Take it from somebody who is new at all, is new with the nonprofit, new with the pageantry, new with ideas. You do it. Just do it. Do it and you'll thank yourself later because there's never a perfect time to do it. And you're going to be surprised at the overwhelming positive responses. And again, I'm so new into this, but so far I have a Queens Give Back community edition coming out where I sit down with local very very large businesses and we just talk about one, it's kind of like what you're doing, like what is their tip, or for like
Mhm.
younger or people who are just afraid to do all of this. And you're just going to be surprised at yourself. You can do it. You can do it and just do it. Even if one thing I've learned, the beautiful thing is that we come together, especially in the pageant world, and we kind of not piggyback off of each other, but we use our resources to make that one person's project happen. Um, so if you want to reach out to me, I would love to support it. you
Yeah,
know,
that's
anything.
amazing. And that's
Um,
that and
and
that's the perfect tip.
yeah, it's this 2026 is going to be the year of building each other and not competing against each other.
The year of
If
collaboration.
year of exactly 2026 is year of collaboration. Because I feel like if we collaborate because we all have something to offer, shit, the things that we could do. Pardon my French, I know. Like we can do phenomenal things, and I wish people saw that. And one of the things that I say to when I do like local events is why I can't fix the world. I can at least start within my own community, and
Yep.
for my community, that's women and girls. You
Yeah.
know,
Well, it's incredible. You are doing it. That is the perfect piece of advice. Just do it. And if you don't
just
have all the resources, collaborate because we can come together and make it happen. And
absolutely.
for any mamas listening, again, I will put Melanie's information and links in the description if you would like to connect with her on social media or support her incredible foundation. And if you are enjoying these conversations, please like and subscribe, and we will be back for more. Melanie, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so
This was
excited.
fun.
I know. I can't wait. I told everybody at work, I was like, I gotta take an hour. I'll be back in like an hour. I was like, I'm gonna go record. They're like, yes.
Well, awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we will be back with another episode soon. See you guys. Thank you.
Bye.